where the fire serve cold, but the Wolves and the Hawks never shiver in the snow. The Bulls keep it running, the Sox run the South, the Cubs run the North, but the Bears run the house. True Chicago sports fans got their ears to the street. Any team make a move and they never skip a beat. And in this house, this is where we be. Welcome to the show with E-Roc and Big-Z.
Welcome to Chicago. Coming from the True Chicago Sports Fan Cave, this is the TCSF podcast with your hosts, E-Roc and Big-Z.
Yeah.
Episode 8. Yes,
34, baby.
34, baby, is brought to you by 606 Media, Noir Caesar, and Grit Clothing Company. Don't forget to check out gritclothingco.com and use our promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off your entire order. As always, I'm Big-Z. How can I mess that up? And I'm here with my co-host, E-Roc. What up, E?
What's good, Z? You're still Z, I promise. What's good, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in. If this is your first time or your 30th time listening, please remember to hit that subscribe button on your favorite listening app. And if you like what you hear, give us a 5-star review on your listening app of choice. And don't forget, you can support the show at anchor.fm/True Chicago Sports Fans/support. This week, we have some very fantastic guests. We're continuing on with our first responders. We have some of Chicago's finest and members of the CPD Knights baseball. Eric, Marco, Omar, and Eddie stop by to talk to us about the team.
There you go, tocayo. That's what we say in Mexican terms, tocayo.
Before we begin today's show, we'd like to acknowledge some non-sports related news going on in the sports world. We wanted to take a minute to acknowledge the passing of former Notre Dame defensive lineman Louis Nix III. Nix was found dead on Saturday in his hometown of Jacksonville, Florida. He was reported missing earlier in the week. The Fighting Irish announced this on Sunday. He was only 29 years old.
Rest in peace.
We also have another story, a pretty big story that happened. It was just crazy. It was one of those things.
Random.
We got really worried because of what happened at the beginning of last year. Tiger Woods had a really bad car accident last Tuesday in California. There was no drugs or alcohol involved as far as we know. It resulted in some pretty significant leg injuries. They had to use the jaws of life to get him out of the vehicle.
Ooh, I mean, just looking at the images, it's like, how did he make it out?
But it's the technology of the cars now. That's all. That's really what saved him.
Yeah.
He's going to have a very long process. Tiger, I don't know, man. Do you think he's going to play golf again?
Let's just be honest. Like, at this point, we want Tiger to be okay because at first and foremost, he's a man and a father, and you want his family to have him in his life. You know, in their life. I would just want him to be able to walk normally.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not worried about his golf game.
This is precisely the thing that Derrick Rose was talking about when he was getting injured. Whether he, and granted, this is an injury outside of your sport, but this is what he was talking about when he says, I'm worried about being able to walk my kids down to graduation or whatever it is. So it's kind of in the same vein. When we think about it that way, we want the man to be okay and be able to take care of his kids and be able to kind of interact with children. You got to look
beyond the athlete part and look at them as a person. They have families, they have family members, they have people that love them. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, to break it down, there's a lot of broken bones in his left and right leg. His left leg was broken into multiple pieces. There's a compound fracture that pierced out of his skin. There's rods inserted to stabilize the legs. There's additional injuries to his ankles. It's going to be a long road to recovery from two guys who've had different issues between backs, hips, knees. We're nowhere near to what he is suffering, but at the same time, my recovery was almost a year.
Right. And I mean, mine, I still feel it from time to time when I had the hip replaced. The thing is, too, is that you're seeing a lot of people bring up his past. It's not fair to do that.
It's irrelevant.
That's what I want to get to. It's not fair to him.
No.
Because this is not something that he did as a result of doing something bad. He was speeding. Just like anybody else. He was speeding.
Trying to get to a photo shoot.
He was on his way. From what I saw, he was on his way to actually go give like Drew Brees some golf lessons or something like that. You know what I mean?
It was like a celebrity photo shoot and golf thing.
Early in the morning.
That he was sponsoring. It was one of his events.
Right. It was his event. It was early in the morning.
He was running late.
You know, and he was running late, so he's speeding. Now, when you're running in from work, what do?
You speed.
You speed. So,
even though it makes a fraction of a difference.
Right. So, I mean, like I said, when we first saw it, you know, I started getting these images of Kobe.
Yeah.
And, you know, thinking, I was like, how can this be? You know, but hopefully he'll be okay. And we wish you the best, Tiger.
Right. At this point, we're just wishing Tiger all the best in his recovery. All right, let's start off this thing right.
Yeah.
This is The Loop, our Chicago sports roundup where we keep you in the loop.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago. Welcome to Chicago.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago.
All right, E. Is there any talk at Hellas Hall, man?
None whatsoever. Except there's one little thing we're hearing about Russell Wilson. You know, it came out last week that through his agent, so we know this is actually coming from him.
It's got to come.
Through his agent, he said, I have not requested a trade. But if I did, if I was to get traded, his destinations would be either to the Dallas Cowboys, the New Orleans Saints,
that'd be a good fit,
the Las Vegas Raiders,
don't do it,
not Oakland, and last but not least, the Chicago Bears. Is there any chance that he comes here? Now, let me tell you.
Yeah.
It was said that he would welcome a trade to Chicago.
Okay.
So it's something he's thought about. And the other thing that I'll say is that if you look at his trajectory in his career with talking to the press and talking about his career, when he was a young man, when he was first coming into the league, when no one knew what to expect out of him and he came out of nowhere, he was very shy, he was reserved, he towed the company line. All the cliche answers. And then what happened is he got married to that beautiful lady. And all of a sudden, his confidence rose up, and now he's willing to speak back. So, granted, the thing that frustrates him about Seattle right now is the line. He came out and says, I'm tired of getting hit. Well,
Chicago, I mean.
So, with all that being said, is there a realistic possibility of Russell Wilson becoming a Chicago Bear?
So you're saying there's a chance. So let's look at it. The contract is structured in a certain way. Wilson counts for $32 million against this year's cap. 13 of it's prorated, $19 million is guaranteed. Trading him would eat about $7 million of the Seahawks cap and force them to cut players to get under the cap.
Okay.
They're currently about $4 million under the cap, and as of February 22nd, 2021, the salary cap projects to be around $181. Yeah. The Bears carry over $7 million in cap space in the 2021 season. $7 million, folks. Therefore, the Bears' current salary cap is to be $188.
But you got to think about this too: is that if they traded for Wilson, they're going to have to trade back players.
Yes,
and they're going to trade back players like Kyle Fuller or somebody like that has a little bit of money that's owed to them. That it would kind of match up a little bit. It's not just like NBA where you have to match up salaries the same way. It's not MLB where you can have one team that's worth 200 or a payroll of $220 million and another team that's like $70 million, like the Rays. Like they like doing that. But I mean, he specifically mentioned that he would like to come to Chicago, or he would not be against playing in Chicago, however you want to take that.
Even by him being mentioned, he would be the greatest quarterback in Chicago history. Just being mentioned, not even been on the team. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I saw something today where Russell Wilson's brother lived in Chicago. His name is Wilson Russell.
Wilson! Oh, boy.
But yeah, I mean, like Sierra is I think...
They're looking to expand their brand.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And where better to do that than the
big
central hub of the United States in Chicago. And, they've been really adamant and vocal about their charities and what they're trying to do and trying to make the world a better place.
And they're being spokespeople for the Black Lives Matter movement. And where else would you want to do that? Where a city that's been very divided in the last couple
very segregated.
months. Right.
Well, I mean, just overall. I mean, you look at Chicago as a whole; it's like the most segregated city in the nation.
Yes, but the neighborhoods, are super.
You know,
segregated.
just drive down Milwaukee Avenue. Every 8 blocks, the food changes. You know what I mean? So that's the thing about him. I would love to have him here.
Yes.
I heard Adam Schefter talking about there is a great possibility that he doesn't stay his whole career in Seattle, and if he does leave, it's going to be within the next couple of years.
From my understanding of reading in capologist
And reading.
Yes, I was reading. So when I say reading, I wasn't scrolling. I was reading. They will probably wait until I think the deadline's like around June 7th or June 21st or something like that, where then after if they trade him after that, they'll save like, I don't know, 12, 15 million. Mm-hmm. So they'll probably wait to that point if they're going to trade him to save some money. But guess what? I mean, between here and there, we still have the draft.
We do have the draft. I've been a proponent of drafting someone,
Offensive line.
signing a free agent.
Yes.
Because here's the thing. As of right now, who is the quarterback of the Chicago Bears? Is it Nick Foles?
Yeah,
Is it Tyler Bray?
It's BDN right
You throw that term around loose.
now. Hey, I throw it around when I can.
But like Trubisky is rumored to be connected to the Patriots. They don't have a quarterback right now. Cam's a free agent.
Yep.
You know, so I mean, I think that we've been hearing so much between Deshaun Watson, between Russell Wilson. Now, let me ask you this.
Oh, here we go.
You know what's coming.
I do know what's coming.
Between the two of them, between Deshaun Watson
Yes.
and Russell Wilson, who would you rather have in the Chicago Bears?
Fudgicles.
Was that Fudgesicle?
That was Fudgicles. This is a PG show and I cannot swear.
Uh-huh.
I think the asking price for Deshaun Watson, because he's a younger player and his contract is astronomical at this point, I don't think it's feasible to do.
Right.
Which one would I prefer if we're playing fantasy football? I'm taking Deshaun Watson. What's more feasible to do as far as being playing GM? It's got to be Russell Wilson.
I'm taking Wilson for the fact that I'm looking at his track record, his history.
All right.
I'm looking at the fact that regardless of what happens within either this year or next year, I mean, realistically, when Pace came to the Bears, he said he was going to draft a quarterback every year. We have not seen that happen. But realistically, what you would like to see is you would like to see Russell Wilson in the starter's role for the Chicago Bears.
Right.
Worst case scenario, Nick Foles as your backup, and then a rookie that you drafted.
Can't afford both of us.
Nick ain't going nowhere. I mean, unless
gotta be part of that
he's
trade.
included in the trade,
He's gotta be part of the
it'll
trade.
be like him and like Kyle Fuller or Hakeem Hicks or something like that.
One
And like,
Hakeem Hicks.
you know,
and a couple of second rounders or something.
well, there's going to be at least one first in there.
Yeah.
So if it happens after the draft, then it changes the way that everything shakes out because you've already taken the pick. But if you can imagine Russell Wilson and whoever, I mean, like even if it's like one of these secondary backups that just kind of floats around the league for 15 years, and then you're rookie, learning from a guy like Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson is not a long-term answer. He's already been in the league for quite some time. He's won his Super Bowl.
Right.
Okay, we've seen him thrive in Pete Carroll's system, and he's had the benefit of some very good players. They had Doug Baldwin. They have Metcalf over there, whose dad used to play for the Bears, Terrence Metcalf.
Right. And
So,
Pete Carroll's system it's all about running.
Absolutely.
So that's what he's mad about.
Well, that's what he's mad
He's
about.
like,
because
I got no protection.
He's a
and
runner all the time.
Right. And I want to throw the ball and I don't want to get hit anymore.
And I think with the players that the Bears have on the offensive line, when you look at what they were able to do towards the end of the season versus the beginning, once they really kind of solidified what was going on there, and that's considering the fact that they had backups, they had Mustafa and they had Bars. They didn't even have James Daniels. So when you look at that, when you bring him back, you have a solid running game. I think they still need to go after another running back.
Always right draft.
You know what I mean?
Always.
You got to see what's going to happen with Tariq Cohen because he had his injury.
Right.
We still don't know what's going to go on with Allen Robinson, but I promise you that if they somehow get Russell Wilson, Robinson will be back.
Yes. Well, he's going to be back because he's going to get franchised.
Well, but what I'm saying is that
He's
you
gonna
can
wanna come
franchise
back.
him, but he's going to want to play in Chicago.
Oh, definitely.
But the idea here is you get a guy like Russell Wilson who can be a natural leader for the team. He's a leader of men, and then you want your rookie learning from a guy like that.
So here's the thing with Russell Wilson. He will recruit players, just like Tom Brady did for his Super Bowl run.
Well, just like Patterson's doing now. Patterson's out there trying to recruit every free agent out
He's
there.
recruiting everybody, which is great.
That's
Patterson's not signed till next year. How about that?
But what I'm telling you, what does that mean if Patterson is trying to recruit players to play for the Chicago Bears? What does that tell you? That he expects to be with the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is the whole thing when everyone is trashing Derrick Rose for not trying to recruit LeBron and things like that. This is what we want out of our players, isn't it?
Yeah, we do. But it's apples and oranges. Because Rose is not that type of player.
He's just not that type of personality, So here's a very interesting thing that you and I have mentioned on the show before.
We did.
Arlington Racetrack is going to be up for sale.
You're buying it?
I mean, like, you'll borrow me $1, I might. That might be putting you over. So here's the thing that we mentioned before. The racetrack is up for sale.
Yeah.
That's a big chunk of land up in Arlington Heights.
It sure is.
Okay. Do you think, or would you like, let's look at it both two different ways. Do you think the Bears should go and try to purchase that land and build a new stadium there and actually have a retractable roof and parking for tailgate so everyone can tailgate and not just in separate parking lots? Or do you think that's something that, hey, the Bears play by the lakefront. That's where they belong.
The Bears should buy this land and develop it and make it a huge sporting complex or actually entertainment complex. Now, the question is, do the Bears have the capital to purchase and develop the land? That's the question. Obviously, we would love a state-of-the-art stadium like SoFi, but that costs $5 billion. Billion, would it be? $1 billion. That's the latest stadium that's out there. And if you've ever seen an NFL game, we went to the Sunday night game and they show that stadium and the roof is lit up and it's showing graphics on the roof. And the inside of it, it's just effing amazing.
This is what's going to scare the Bears. You ready for this?
Oh, here we go.
Everything that happened in the past year with all the money that the Chicago Cubs put into Wrigleyville, into Wrigley Field, into the surrounding areas, buying up all the land, putting up all the hotels, all this stuff, and now all of a sudden they have no income. That is a completely unpredictable scenario.
Okay.
So if the Bears go ahead and spend all this money and something for some reason gets shut down again, what happens then?
All right, so I'm going to come back at you with this. There's two things. The Bears don't own any stadium. They rent from the Chicago Park District. So guess what? You've been saving money for over 100 years. So you should have something in that big piggy bank that Virginia McCaskey has somewhere locked in a vault in the basement. All right? Let's put it there. Second of all, you are a franchise that is a marquee franchise.
Right.
When the NFL starts their season, they're like, all right, where are we going to put the Bears? Are they any good? Are we going to put them on TV? And guess what? If you get a stadium and then you put your training facility next to it and you put bars around there and you put parking around there, you're going to make that money back.
You can make that money back.
And it's going to take 5 to 6 years to build this stadium. So you have time. You have time.
I think the hope is, now let's play
devil's advocate.
Not just devil's advocate. If you want to play devil's advocate, I can tell you that the Bears have been playing on the lakefront forever and ever, and they should never leave. And that's just what Chicago Bears football is, and the Chicago Bear weather and the lakefront and blah 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 blah.
Okay. Do you go to games in January?
I mean, look,
do you go to games in January?
I don't go to games.
If you get free tickets, will you go to a game in January?
Hell yeah, I'll go.
You're crazy.
I'm not.
There's no way in hell.
And I'm gonna tell you why. Because they're expensive, and I don't have the money to buy a ticket. So if you give me a free ticket, I'm going. I went with Mike Logic a couple of years ago. I was like, he called 7 people. So you know how high up I was on his list to go and see the game. But he called all these people, and I went with him. We had a great time. I was really, really cold, but I had a great time.
I'm not talking about the great time. I'm talking about the weather conditions and you bearing it.
Well, you're going to do that anyway. I mean, it's not like Arlington Heights is not cold. It's still.
Oh, well, that gets to my point. If you get that stadium built out in Arlington Heights, guess what? For the love of God, put a damn dome on it.
That's the main thing, is that if you do that, you absolutely have to do that, because you got to make sure that you can use this for other sports. You have to make sure that you can use it for, concerts. You do a lot of Wrigley, and that doesn't have the roof or whatever. But, the thing that you're looking for is like a Final Four. Here's the big thing.
Yeah.
Here's the big thing. You go and buy that land out in Arlington Heights. You build yourself a state-of-the-art stadium.
Right.
You will get a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's more money coming in.
So you can make money. If they have the capital to actually do it, what they need to do now, you have the capital to go ahead and you're going to make up all that money. But the problem is that is this a feasible thing for them to be able to do right now? Because here's the thing. If they don't buy up that land, you know what's going to happen is that it's going to turn into condos.
Meh. All right, man.
So let's put a cap on this. Yes or no to the stadium in Arlington Heights?
Yes, and put a retractable roof for the love of God.
I agree. I'm with you on that one. I would love to have a place to bring my family. We were just earlier today talking about Miller Park.
Yes.
And I love Wrigleyville. I think they did a great job with Wrigley
They did.
putting family-friendly areas around it where it was just all drunks and all the bars and puke in the streets and it's Mardi Gras every day.
Exactly.
But you go to Miller Park and you have
tailgate.
You know you're gonna it's like high school. All right, here's your drunks and here's your stoners and here's the guys that like to smash tables and here's the sausage guys.
We're not in Buffalo, man.
And here's the families. And here's the family section. You know what I mean? So they could definitely do something like that. You can develop the area. You can build hotels near the stadium.
Exactly.
For the, you know what I mean? But the players from other teams are going to want to, stay downtown. But whatever it is.
No, they won't.
Have you been downtown Chicago? If you're from
All the time.
Houston, yeah, I'm going out when I hang out downtown Chicago.
This is the Deshaun Watson. Are you listening?
Deshaun Watson. There's two Texans we got to keep our eyes on because JJ's out there too, and he's talking.
JJ's not coming here now. Other reports are out there. He's not coming.
I'm just saying, JJ's out there. He did mention the Bills, but he's still out there, man.
All right, let's transition to the Madhouse on Madison. What's going on with the Blackhawks?
Well, it's cold.
It was.
The Blackhawks entered the season with some serious question marks. They didn't re-sign your boy Corey Crawford, who then went to the Devils and then retired right away.
Yeah.
They've been looking for an off-season, so they entered this season without a proven starter. And on top of that, the Blackhawks haven't had Kirby Doc, Alex Nylander, Brent Seabrook, or Johnny Taves.
Yep.
We still don't know any news about him, but
hope he's okay.
With this many key players going into this season, it would, we were like, well, this is doomed.
Right, we're just like, rebuild.
But guess what? They've been looking good. They're exciting to watch.
They're very exciting to watch. Unfortunately, sometimes they do have letdowns this season, just like when they played the Detroit.
Yeah.
But those are games that you've got to win. Again, they're a young team.
Oh, absolutely.
And guess what? Even though I was down on Subban, he had a shutout this week.
Right.
So, but Lankinen is the guy.
That's your boy.
He's up there for Rookie of the Year. I know he's not going to win it because there's some other kid up
he's
north.
A goalie.
Yeah, and there's some other kid up north that's doing really well. So, watch the Blackhawks.
Look,
they're fun to watch.
We will never sit here and pretend like we know a ton about hockey.
No.
But it's one of those things. If you're a fan of Chicago, if you've been watching hockey at all in the past 10 years when they won 3 chips, you know that especially when they get on fire, they're a fast-moving team and they're extremely entertaining and exciting to watch. So, if you're not into them now, you might as well get on board because if they're going in the direction they look like they're going, we might see a couple more parades downtown.
Yeah, if we get back all these players, especially Taves, we'll look out.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. We got another team that reminds me a lot about the Blackhawks because they play very similar.
Yeah, same thing. These two teams are very similar in what they're doing. They have a lot of rookies in there. They got some veterans in there. They're up and down.
Yes.
But the coaches are proving that they're earning their pay.
Well, and the thing is, too, is that, the big problem that they're having right now is that, in both teams, and I'm talking about the Bulls and the Blackhawks, is that they have a hard time closing games.
Or they'll start off slow, and sometimes that mountain is just too high to climb.
Or they climb too high up on the mountain, and they start looking back, and next thing you know, their partner's right behind them.
Yeah, there was a Bulls game, and they were up 15, 16.
They were up at least 16 points, and then they crumbled.
Yeah, they crumbled at the end.
I think it was against Phoenix.
Yeah, lost a lot of money.
But here's some very good news. Zach LaVine is finally an all-star, which I still don't understand how he wasn't an all-star in Chicago. He was there.
Yeah.
It's been very well deserved for our boy Laxavine. Zach LaVine, he's been putting up Michael Jordan numbers in the past couple weeks.
Yes.
And if we're being honest, I think the Bulls' success during this stretch without Markkanen it could really work against them because they're showing that they can play well without him.
Yeah.
So it brings me back to wanting to take a chance on taking him and taking Wendell Carter and trading him to Minnesota and bringing Karl Anthony Towns down here.
I would love to do that, but at the same time, you've got to put that kid on the court so that he builds some value for trading.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like, the front office is really, with the way that the Bulls are playing without Markkanen, it's very possible that the front office is going to be very comfortable letting him walk away.
Oh, yeah. They'll just let him walk away.
And especially if the price tag is too high, which I think he wants more money than he's actually worth.
Yes, he does.
Because he has a very high opinion of himself. Maybe he doesn't like to watch the games. But, I mean, this recent success in his absence, it will impact the entire organization. And if a team does call it the deadline, I think that's something that you definitely have to look at.
Yeah, they'll probably trade him for a second round pick, which is not what you want to get.
Right.
But it's either that or let him walk for free.
And that's why I'm looking at, I'll tell you something else is that, there's a player on the Chicago Bulls who's a veteran who a lot of people really like.
Thaddeus Johnson?
Thad Young.
No, his name is Thaddeus Johnson. Look it up. On his Twitter, it says Thaddeus Johnson.
Is it really?
He changed his name because he's giving out, dimes.
All right, man. But look, so I've seen a lot of people this week. We were talking about Thad Young, and my stance on a guy like him, who's like in his early to mid 30s, who's been a journeyman in the NBA, his value has never been higher in his entire career. And if you can get like a late first rounder out of a real contender, because we know the Bulls are not a real contender. They're exciting. They're fun to watch.
They're not a contender.
But we already established the NBA has about 5 or 6 true contenders for the title, and the Lakers sit on top of that.
Right.
You got the Lakers, the Clips, and the Nets, and you got to work, and then it's the rest.
Right.
So when you look at that, I can't imagine a scenario where it wouldn't be a good idea to try, because they're going to call.
Oh, no,
to try to trade Thad Young to one of these contenders.
The issue is that Thad Young was in Minnesota when Zach LaVine got drafted. And that's from what I hear. I can't remember, since this is off the top of my head, but I remember Stacey King talking about him saying that that's his rookie. So now that they're playing together on the Bulls, that's his mentor.
He's 25.
And
he's 25. It's time to pull up your bootstraps.
But he's also mentoring Wendell Carter Jr. And the rest of the cats out there.
So you package Wendell Carter Jr. and you package Thad Young and you go out there and get something for him.
This isn't a hot dog and fry combo, man.
I'm just saying, here's the thing. Thad Young will never, ever, ever, ever again in his career nor to this point has had as much value as he does right now. And I've seen a lot of people like, he's the glue guy.
No.
He's the glue guy. He's the glue guy for a team who is going to be 16th at best. It's basketball hell. Yeah. We love to see them play well. We love to see them play together. But again, they have a huge problem with not being able to finish out games, and they have a huge problems with turnovers.
If you're going to trade him, you got to package him with Otto Porter Jr., who has not seen the court in a long time.
Well, no one's going to take him.
It's a big contract.
And that's why you want to trade. I mean, I'm cool with the straight up trade to see if you can get a pick.
Get a pick.
Or put Wendell in there and see what you can do.
No, get a pick and let this administration take care of that. Now, my question to you, is Kobe White Ben Gordon?
Too young. Too early to call.
Oh, no. It is not.
It's too early to call for
Here
me.
it is. Rookie years. Field goal percentage, 41%. Rookie years, 3-point percentage. Kobe White has 35. Ben Gordon has 40%. Total rebounds, 3.5 to 2.6. Assists, 2.7, 2.0. Points, 13.2, 15.1. Ben Gordon.
I could pull LeBron's rookie season and compare it to Luka Doncic's rookie season.
And Luka has better numbers.
And you'll say Luka is a better player.
He's going to be a better player.
I don't think he's going to be a better player than LeBron. He's not going to be a better player than LeBron. I'm sorry. You don't even have to like LeBron.
It's not that I don't like LeBron.
LeBron is a top 5 overall, like all-time player. Probably
Agreed.
a top. I give him top 3. I put him behind Kobe just because I know, to me, Jordan's the number 1 overall, and Kobe was the second coming of Jordan. Mm-hmm. That's why I rank him that way. To me, LeBron is number 3 all-time overall. He has more points, he has more assists, he has more rebounds, blah, 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 blah,
He's
blah.
been playing since he was 18.
He's been playing,
different.
he's been playing since he was like 4. He's been in the NBA since he was 5. and Jordan went to college, all that stuff. So that's what I'm saying. I don't think overall Luka Doncic in his career is going to be better than LeBron. I think he's going to be better than Dirk, who right now we consider to be the best overall European player of all time. But I don't think he's going to be better than LeBron. But what I'm saying is that this is way too soon. I mean, a year and like one full year, some of 1 year, and a year last year that didn't get completed. I don't know what Kobe White is. I really don't. He's not a point guard.
And that's my biggest point. He is not a point guard. He is a shooting guard.
Yeah. I mean, and I get that.
You can't put a square pegging around the hole. Thank you. You can't do that. So that's what they started to do. And guess what? They've moved some pieces around and put Satoransky at the point.
Right.
And it's made a huge difference.
I trust Billy Donovan, like I've said before, as a leader of young men, knowing where to find where they fit in best, whether they're a square peg in a round hole. Do I have to shave up some of the sides and make you fit in that role? Or can I find that square hole for you too? You know what I mean? So I trust what Donovan has in his skill set to figure out where this guy is going to play.
And that's why, going back to your point of trading Thaddeus Young, get a pick, because I trust the administration to make the right choice.
Right.
All right, E, what's going on in Wrigleyville?
Wrigleyville, our favorite player that no one ever talks about.
Who?
The third baseman of the Chicago Cubs, Chris Bryant. Remember that guy?
I've never heard of him.
Well, listen. We may not have heard of him, but someone on the Mets heard of him.
Yeah, he got a random phone call, right?
Yeah, so he got a text this offseason that said, "Welcome to the Mets," from a Connecticut phone number he didn't know who it was from. So he had to call his agent to make sure that he wasn't traded.
I mean, I don't even pick up numbers I don't know. Leave a voicemail. And I don't even listen to voicemail. I read the voicemail.
Yeah, I mean, I don't either. I mean, it's wild. I couldn't even tell you. I think my voicemail's full right now, and I don't even know what the password is.
Oh boy.
So Jesse Rogers put a lot of stuff on his Twitter about what's going on with Bryant.
Yeah.
Bryant, he had some words about Yu Darvish getting traded to the Padres. He says it's kind of surprised and sad to see him go because he was really coming into his own here, which we've also discussed. He did have something to say about the team spending. He says, you look at the Dodgers. Yeah, they have lots of money over there, and they also just won the World Series too, so they're doing fine. It's pretty cool to see a team like the Padres step up and make big signings and trades. There was a point when, this team, the Cubs, was doing that too, and I'm sure it'll happen again in the future. I'm just not privy to those conversations, and I don't know what direction.
He won't be part of that future, I'll tell you that much.
Well, and that's the thing. He goes, I don't know what direction they want to go. I just show up and play, and I do what I got to do here.
All right, so I stated this before. I love when great players stay on one team, and Rizzo and Bryant are both great players that should finish their career with the Chicago Cubs. It's not going to happen for Bryant.
No, I think
he's going to get traded.
I think the trade is imminent.
And he's going to go to free agency, and guess what?
He's going to get paid.
He's going to get paid.
Welcome
to the Orioles.
Oh, God.
Like Sammy Sosa.
Baseball has been very, very good to me.
Yes, right.
The thing that still upsets me about Chris Bryant is that my fear is that they're going to hold onto him too long, the same way the Bulls held on to Luol Deng, for too long.
Yeah. Could have got Kobe.
There was a player that the Bulls wanted D Wade, but Miami wanted Donyell Marshall. They didn't want to give him up to get the trade that would have brought him D Wade. Yep. So I mean, my fear is that did they wait too long, because when you had enough value where you could have got Arenado, who is now with the Cardinals and looks absolutely miserable in his media day photo shoot, which is fantastic. I love it. It's so delicious to see the guy that should have been on the Cubs 2 years ago just sitting there sulking because he's in those ugly red colors. But anyways, they didn't get what they could have for Bryant when he was at his highest value. The same thing they did with Schwarber.
Yes.
So I really don't know what to think of Bryant at this point. I really hope for the Cubs lore, for whatever it is, him and Rizzo together, I think this is their last stand together. So I really want to see them two play well together. Speaking of Rizzo, He said Monday that he's hopeful about signing a long-term deal with the club before his contract expires at the end of the season. He said, this city and everything I love about the city, I kind of wear it on my sleeve. He said, I still love it. I love our team. I love what we have going on here.
The organization, the Cubs organization, specifically, needs to do right by Rizzo and extend.
Yes.
Spread his money out, a la Bobby Bonilla.
Oof.
It ain't got to be a lot of money. I'm just saying, spread his money out.
So he'll get paid until like 27, 32?
Until, what's that one player the White Sox traded to Padres? Until that guy is his contract.
Oh my gosh. Is that Senor Tatis?
Tatis.
Yeah, man. Look, I love Rizzo. I mean, he is essentially the linchpin that really started the current wave of Cubs success.
He was the cornerstone of that building.
Literally and figuratively.
Yes, exactly. All right, did the Cubs make any other moves, man?
There was a former MVP candidate. A former MVP candidate that was on the ballot last year, and he did receive a vote. The Cubs brought back Ryan Tepera. He was non-tendered by the team back in December after 21 games last season. Thank you for bringing back our MVP.
Yeah, you knew I was going to go there. You knew I was going to go there, man. All right, man, finish up the Cubs news, man, because I was going to go whole thing on it, but forget it.
They also officially brought back Pedro Strop. He is signed. He's back. He got a minor league deal. I saw a lot of people kind of talking about that too. To me, hey,
it's a good pitcher.
It's a minor league deal. He's one of your best relievers of all time. Let's see what he's got in the tank. A cool story that did come out. Jock Peterson said he got a random call from Jason Hayward welcoming him to Chicago. He said he didn't know Hayward at all and figured the Chicago number was from a team trainer or a traveling secretary. He was really grateful for that call, and that's exactly the type of guy that Jason Hayward is.
That is what your leader is supposed to do.
And that is part of why he gets paid what he gets paid.
Oh, yeah.
It brings value, and people do not recognize that. They're like, well, he didn't hit the way I thought he should hit. I'm like,
but how many games did he save in the outfield?
Right. How many runs did he save? How many games did he save? Look, hey, Game 7, World Series, rain delay. Here we go.
Yeah, I agree with you.
You know what I mean? So that's the thing.
Agree with you.
All right, man. What's up on the south side?
All right. The White Sox made another huge splash with signing Trevor Bauer. Oh, no, wrong guy. No, they signed international free agent Jorge Vera.
Is that like Jorge but with an N?
That's right. I probably misspelled that his birth certificate. All right. He's the top-ranked international prospect. He's 6'4", right-handed pitcher from Cuba. Oof. I mean, you know, the White Sox and Cubans were kind of tight, very tight.
Yo, love the Cuba.
That's right. So it's a big thing. Yeah. I know Minnie Minoso is looking down at us with the hugest smile.
It's fantastic.
I love Minnie Minoso.
The White Sox love Cuba, man.
Oh, we have a whole complex.
You do.
No, we literally do.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. So we're like,
all right.
We'll take you and you. Oh, 6'4". Yeah, we'll take him.
I'm 12.
I swear, when I saw this kid, I was like, whose son is that?
Yeah.
Whose little boy is that? Because he's only like 20. And I mean, like.
Yeah, and they also signed some other teenage kids. I'm not going to put their names out there because that's going to take a while for you.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I'm wondering, like, when he gets into that locker room, they're going to be like, bro, you ain't even got no pelitos yet. What's going on here?
Yeah, bro. His rocks haven't dropped yet. All right. Tim Anderson met with LaRussa this week after his meeting. This is what he had to say. The drive to want to win is there. He has that. I'm behind him 110%. That's what the ultimate goal is to win the World Series. And I'm behind him. I think he's pretty solid. So far, everything has been great. Things that LaRussa has been preaching have been good. I think we got the right man. I hope so. Yeah, that little caveat at the end, that worries me. I understand that at this point where he can tell him anything. And I want to tell him one more thing. I ain't afraid of him. And you can tell him that. I mean, Anderson's going to be Anderson. He's a character. He is going to... I mean, he was a big proponent to, our last manager. Mm-hmm. He was a big fan of him. Because, he was the dad.
So
he was a soft-speaking dad that puts his
Yes.
arm around your shoulder.
Yes.
Hey, son, this is how you should do it.
he's
And LaRussa's not that guy.
No, because Ricky Renneria is today's version of a parent.
Yes.
Hey, buddy, it's okay. A D is, just a D is not enough. And LaRussa's like, the hell you mean you got a D? You know what I mean?
Go clean the gutters.
Yeah, right. And then do your homework again.
Right.
And the thing is that TA has really come out of his shell when he first came into the league. We talked about it before.
Oh, yes.
When he first came into the league, it looked like he was scared of his own shadow, and now he's like outspoken. He's out there.
Bat flipping.
He did say something else because I don't remember exactly what somebody challenged him, and he's like, "F it, we're the best team in the AL."
Oh, yeah, they were asking him, do you think that you'll win the AL Central? And he's like, yeah, F it. Yeah, we're going to win the F. And he talked about the Twins, saying, hey, you know what? They're a good team. They've proven it. Guess what? We have better talent, and we have the drive to win.
Mm-hmm. So you're telling me he's got the TWTW, the will to win.
Look at you watching White Sox games.
Oh, man.
All right. Also, in White Sox news, former hitting coach Todd Stevenson has returned to the White Sox organization as a special assistant under Vice President Kenny Williams. That's a mouthful. Whew. Whew. All right. His role will focus on scouting assignments. So essentially, this is Reinsdorf doing the same thing, being loyal to his people.
Reinsdorf, I want to see.
I need a job over there, Reinsdorf.
I don't even need it. Like, I got a picture of me with Ricketts in here in the studio, and I want to pick it. I want a picture with someone, with Reinsdorf, and be like, hey, remember that one time we took a picture? He's
That's
like,
right.
here's $5 billion. Take all the money. He's like, please, if I fall asleep, wake me, or don't wake me if it's after 6 p.m. So I got a question for you, man.
Oh, here we go.
So last week we talked about your boy Mancada.
Yes, sir.
Dancing and singing all over the place.
It's
man.
my jam right now. It's
So
my
I gotta-
ringtone.
I know it is. I heard it. So let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
I remember when Ben Zrobis was with the Cubs and he had his creepy ass wife singing Benny and the
Skeletor?
Jets.
Skeletor.
She's so creepy. But he had her singing Benny and the Jets, and that's what version they used for his walk-up music.
Oh, no.
So Mancada, is his own song going to be his walk-up music?
This man is so conceited, he's going to do that. I guarantee you. And guess what? He is. He already confirmed it. He is going to have his own music as his walk-up music.
Was that the whole purpose of this?
I don't think so. I don't think so because the song was released back in October.
Oh, my goodness.
All right, man. We'll be right back with one of Chicago's finest, Eric Bermudez, and the board of the CPD Knights Baseball, after a word from our sponsor.
This is Chicago. Doors open on the left at Chicago.
Welcome to Chicago.
Welcome back to the True Chicago Sports Fan Podcast with E-Roc and Big-Z.
Yeah.
Today we continue highlighting some of Chicago's very own first responders.
Yes, sir.
From the Chicago Police Department baseball team, the CPD Knights. Welcome to the show, Eric Bermudez, Marco Acevedo, Omar Gomez, and Eddie Echivera.
Welcome, guys. Welcome.
Awesome, man, guys. Appreciate it. Glad to be on, man.
Thank you for having us.
All right, let's start off with the most common question when you bump into somebody in Chicago. Where'd you grow up? Let's start off with Omar.
I grew up in Humboldt Park.
Yeah.
So did we. All right, go ahead, Eddie. Where'd you grow up?
Irving Park area, Albany Park.
Gotcha. Eric?
My younger years was Humboldt Park, and then I moved north into Ravenswood area.
Ravenswood, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, right before high school.
Awesome. Omar?
Marco.
Marco.
Marco, my bad.
I grew up on Ashland and Thomas, which is by Wells High School.
Yes, sir.
Hey,
That's basically everyone kind of in the same area.
Yeah, everybody grew up in the same area, which is great. So we grew up around the Wicker Park, Ukrainian Village, Westtown area, and that was most of our childhood right there.
Yeah, it was funny because we lived in the same area, didn't really know each other till high school.
Right.
But, Z went to De Diego and I went to Sabin.
Nice.
interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so let me ask you guys, what influenced you to become a police officer? Start with Eric.
You know what? Growing up, I've always wanted to be a police officer. Watching CP officers working, while we were playing baseball. For instance, we were having a playoff game, Omar and I, at Humble
I
Park.
remember that?
Yeah, we were having a baseball game at Humble Park in our little league, and there was some rival guys going against each other. Big fight. A lot of craziness going on in the park. So all CPD showed up, jumping out with their blue shirts and things like that. I mean, from that point, I knew I wanted to be a police officer. I knew I wanted to, give back when I was older in terms of giving back to the city. So
What
just
about you,
watching
Eddie?
them work at a young age.
Yeah, honestly, man, I wanted a job that had great benefits. And at the time, I was working at Apple before CPD.
Oh, wow.
And I love my job, don't get me wrong, especially being like the whole creative aspect of things. But I wanted something more reliable and something consistent. So I took the test. I was blessed with a super low lottery number, and I got in within the year. So been there since.
Oh, that's awesome.
Awesome. What I want to know, how'd you get this? How were you able to get this outreach started, and how did it come about? Talk about that.
Well, 3 years ago, we decided we wanted to create a team that was not just about baseball. It was about giving back, reaching out to the underprivileged families, underprivileged communities, and trying to make a difference within those areas. And the reason for that is growing up, we were those underprivileged kids who didn't have resources, who would use hand-me-down equipment from other people just so that we can go out there and play sports. So we see ourselves in these kids, and that's essentially our driving force in trying to give back and trying to make it a little easier for not just them, but for their families, bringing them out for free baseball clinics and giving them that specialized training that we didn't have as kids because we couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
That was always in the burbs or other organizations that you had to pay an extreme amount of money for. So what we're trying to do and what we're doing is we're just giving those opportunities to these underprivileged families, underprivileged kids, these low-income communities, because we know how it felt growing up not to have that. So we want to give it to them as much as we possibly can with the resources that we have. Ultimately, that's our driving force, man, is that we know what they feel, so we want to try to make it easier for those families.
I can completely relate with that. I actually help to coach girls softball out here in Franklin Park now. And I think about it now, and a lot of these kids, they actually have programs set up. When I was a kid, you play baseball, it was just whoever was in the park.
Yes, pick up. Let's go get this guy, go get this guy, go knock on their door. Can you play? Yeah.
But like, hey, I brought a football. Who wants to play?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? The difference in what training when it comes to just like early leadership skills these kids are available or able to develop over time is just fantastic by having programs like this.
Yeah, absolutely. And our program is more than in just baseball. When we go into whatever event we do it with as a mentorship type of deal. You know what I mean? We want the kids to understand, who we are, what we do, that we care. But we also want them to understand that we want them to stay on the right track. It's more than just sports. You know what I mean? It's bringing it all together. You know what I'm saying, as mentors, and then the benefit or the plus is that we're providing, free activities for them in terms of baseball clinics, video game outings, holiday toy drives, turkey drives. I mean, a lot of these, we're just trying to bring everything, but also keeping that mentorship mentality with it as well.
Awesome. So we have the board here with us, which is you guys, but how are you able to recruit more officers for your cause?
What we do annually is we put out a flyer for tryouts, and we let all the officers know that when you join the Knights, it's not just about baseball. It's about giving back to the community. And if you're in and you want to be a part of that, and you have that same drive and same passion for giving back, absolutely come on out. Granted, we want you to, know how to play the game of baseball, but that's not the most important to us. What's most important is that they have that same mentality as the rest of the 45 members of our organization, and that's giving back to the community and being ready and able to do it.
That's fantastic. I love the way that you guys are going about this. I got a question though. A couple weeks ago, we had my buddy Miguel Villegas from the Chicago Blaze football team, and when they recruit a lot of not just firefighters but other first responders.
Right.
Do you guys have other first responders other than police officers on your team?
We do. We do have a Chicago firefighter. We had a couple of suburban firefighters that were on our club last year. They're actually no longer with us, but we do have a firefighter with us. We also have some suburban officers. It's not, we're about 95% Chicago, but we do have some suburban officers, EMT officers, and then we have a Homeland Security officer that plays with us as well.
Oh, wow.
Awesome.
Also county guys too.
Yeah, some Cook County officers as well, Cook County sheriffs.
Yeah. That's amazing. Can you tell us about last week's Sunday Fun Day, and then who participated and how'd you do against these kids in video games?
Omar, you want to take that one?
I actually wanted to go back to when you guys asked that question about what made you want to be the police.
Sure.
And I'm actually the opposite, if I can share.
Absolutely.
So growing up in Humboldt Park, single mom, I've touched on this with the kids every time when I talk to them. It's tougher, right? Obviously, there was times my mom didn't eat, stuff like that. So I saw that growing up, and I remember getting relocated from one side of the park to the other, running through the park to get home, or before getting jumped or getting out by the police.
Pretty much how we all grew up. Yeah, definitely.
Exactly. So fast forwarding, I was supposed to go to Clemente High School to play baseball. It didn't happen. My mom was like, "You're not going to play with your cousins at Clemente." So I ended up going to St. Benedict High School.
Oh, nice.
It was the best decision ever because the school was so diverse. It was like a melting pot. So I learned different religions, different backgrounds, different ethnicities, right? So it helped big time. And then going to college, playing baseball at Chicago State, you know how we all think, oh man, we're going to make it. I'm going to make it. No. I was fortunate to play against Granderson at UIC, Zamarja at Notre Dame, Jacoby Ellsbury at Oregon State. And then I realized, I'm going to have to figure something out afterwards, right? So when I finished, I went into banking. Long story short, there was one time, so I was horrible with money, believe it or not, like giving people money back or taking money in, but I was great interacting and talking with customers and being like just about them. So they had me as a banker, and I was talking with someone at the bank on Division game, and one day one of the tellers got robbed. Right? So she came to me crying, and a lot of people don't know this, so it was in the movies. Me, growing up, where I grew up, my first instinct was chase after him.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Chase after the guy, he got in the car. I was able to call the police, tell them what type of car plate, what have you. The police showed up, and I still remember this. Her name was Daisy Ortiz, older Puerto Rican lady, and she told me, man, it's what kind of asshole does that? Like chases someone that robs the bank. And she asked me, "Did you ever think about being a police officer?" I was like, "No, I never thought. I needed a job after college." And she said, "You should." And she actually helped me prepare. She would take me to the 10th district and do classes every Saturday, every month to prepare. And that's how
awesome.
Actually, I got on. And then just being able to talk and coming from the neighborhood and inner city and being able to talk with any type of person, it actually helped me out to this day. So I just wanted to get back to that topic.
I really
but
appreciate.
But the Sunday Fun Day.
Go ahead.
The Sunday Fun Day you were saying. So we try to get partnership with organizations with kids that actually need help, like Richard was saying. And Base Chicago was our first organization that we partnered with. I'm actually on the advisory board with them, and just when we started with them, the network and the growth, just being able to be introduced with other organizations within the city, helped big time. So we had Towers of Excellence that we just partnered up with. Richie had City of Refuge that he partnered up with.
Refugee. City of Refugee.
City of Refuge. Yeah. So we just incorporated those organizations with the kids. Said, look, we're gonna do something different. We just don't want to be all about baseball and stuff like that. We want the kids to get out, get to do some other things and see other things. So.
All right. So now that we're kind of going in the direction really talking about baseball here, before we go any further, we got to ask the question.
Oh, yes. There it is.
Cubs or Sox?
Oh.
I'm a true blue Cubs fan, man. True blue Cubby fan.
How many Cubs we got there?
So it's 1-1. 2-1.
Cubs.
Oh, it's 2-2. Is that what's going on?
Yeah.
Wait. Besides Eddie, who else is a Sox fan on our team? I didn't know that.
It's just Eddie.
Just Eddie. Oh,
I think it's just me, bro. No.
Hey, Omar's a Cubs fan, right?
yeah. Well, I don't know.
I'm a Cubs fan, but I
you.
can go to any. I'm not.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so
I finally get a win because we do so much White Sox and White Sox.
That's right, we do.
I finally get something over here. I mean,
Yeah, my old man, I have a lot of uncles, and they were all Cubs fans, and my old man was the only one that was the different one to be a Sox fan. So
hey, man, we're always the black sheep. We're always the black sheep, man. I got your back. I got your back.
Y'all always got to be difficult about something.
Well, are we difficult?
Exactly.
Hey, let's start with Marco on this one.
Yes.
Tell us about your first baseball memory.
My first baseball memory, 1970s at Ecker Park.
Hey, right by my house.
Get him.
I played with
I
the
used to have the
Pirates.
box over there.
We were the Pirates. So 79 was my first team, and we were called the Pirates, and we had the same uniforms.
So
And my dad was the coach.
So then you want to be Roberto Clemente?
That was our role model.
That's right.
Growing up, 'cause our parents, watched Roberto Clemente play. So that's why I garnered my interest into helping others. Because what Roberto Clemente said, if you're on Earth and you have an opportunity to help somebody and you don't, then you're wasting your time here. So
Very much so.
Absolutely.
I live by that mantra, and that's why I'm part of the Knights program.
And as the only Sox fan, I want to hear from you, Eddie.
Yeah, go ahead, Eddie.
Tell us about your first baseball memory.
Oh man, it'll bringing it back to Horner Park days, man.
Okay.
I was probably like 10 years old. Yeah, I started off playing over there for many years. I just fell in love with it. I never thought I would ever, play it. Didn't do T-ball, so I started kind of late. But yeah, it was just good times. Just bringing that family back. Always taking a ride with my mom and pops, going to watch they would watch every game. But just enjoying the time, having fun.
That's fantastic. I love hearing about how people got started and what they're doing. It's interesting, and then you kind of see their path. So we really appreciate y'all coming on and sharing with us.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's move on. Tell us about your upcoming events and how listeners can participate.
We got
That's you.
Yeah, we actually have March 27th. We're going to have a free community baseball clinic at the Pullman Center on the south side of Chicago.
Beautiful.
So obviously we've already posted it on all of our social media platforms. It's completely free. Just parents, just RSVP your kids and come on out. CPD Nights Baseball, send me an email. We'll RSVP you. It's looking to be a big event, but we're going to have a tremendous amount of support and resources there for the kids. Should be fun. And then moving on into the year, we have we're working on a citywide baseball clinic, free baseball clinic for the kids, to where within 48 hours, a 2-day period, we're going to hit 4 different locations and providing free baseball clinics. Hopefully we get the organizations on board to where we can provide some of the kids with equipment at the different locations. But that's in the works. There's really no date yet set for it, but that's something that we want to do. It's going to be an amazing event. We have our charity game where we play against another law enforcement police team. This year we're going to be playing against the Illinois State Police Troopers.
Okay.
Yeah, we played them.
Bragging rights.
We played them back in 2018, and we kind of beat up on them a little bit. So now they're coming back with some vengeance. They want.
I think it took 2-3 years to get some ringers on their team. That's what they're doing.
That's what he said. That's what he said. He said they just got a group of young troopers that just joined, and they're all baseball players, and they're ready to go. I said, hey, let's have fun, man. Let's raise money for our fallen brothers and sisters that paid the ultimate in the line of duty. And that's essentially what we do for the charity games is we raise money for our charitable organizations such as the Brotherhood for the Fallen, and they support the family members who've lost a family member in the line of duty. So they go out and they try to, make it easier for those families in the time of need, especially in a catastrophe, or not catastrophe, but in a serious situation like that. And then same with the Illinois State Police. They'll be doing it for the Illinois State Police Heritage Foundation, where they donate to their fallen brothers and sisters. But that's what we do for our charity game. We're also going to be having another one this year. Again, we're working on a date against our fire department. And that's more for bragging rights, but we'll also be raising money for organizations who support fallen brothers and sisters. We have our Latin Jazz coming up in April, actually, and we've been working with Mikey O. I know you guys know Mikey O.
Yeah, good friend of ours, yes.
Yeah, he's an amazing person, man. He's
Sure
been a
is,
blessing,
sure is.
and he's been really pushing to help us, and it's truly a blessing to us. But we created some fundraisers so that we can kind of expand and put more out to our communities. We're doing a Latin salsa Sunday for 3 Sundays in April, so families can come out, enjoy some Latin jazz, not salsa, but some Latin jazz. Spend some time, get to know the Knights, and it's all for a great cause. And then we'll be playing at the Field of Dreams August 1st, which is something cool that we just came up with. We'll be playing Field of Dreams again. That game will actually be playing against our State Police brothers again, and they really want to crack at us. I mean, they want to definitely be. They want as many opportunities as they can to beat us, but we'll be playing.
Listen, I think another way you guys could, drum up a lot of interest is a lot of, Super Trooper style pranks that go on YouTube.
And talk about the junior Knights.
Yeah, we have. We actually this year we partnered up with an organization to where we're supporting 2 different age levels for our junior Knights, 14U and 16U. And what we do again as mentors, we'll go out, support the kids. We'll donate funding to their organizations. We've already donated face gaiters for them for their protection throughout the summer. We donated baseball hats. I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank here. For the 14U kids, and we're just trying to give back. These teams consist of inner city kids. They come from the same areas as us, growing up, and we're just trying to give them that experience, to get out there, play against, in other states, represent Chicago, understand that there's more outside of the city limits. And just giving them that opportunity to see things, play against high-level baseball, give them that specialized training. Again, that's something we didn't have growing up, so we're trying to do that for these young kids. And this is our first year, and we look to expand from this point on, as well as adding on additional resources from other organizations to make it even bigger. And then it's crazy because Marco is the head coach. So we kind of we funnel everything from the Knights, and we touch in different communities, but we also trying to make a difference for all of our Latino kids, or not just Latino, but any of inner city kids that are looking to play college baseball. Marco is the head coach of Truman College baseball. But yeah, so it goes into, with the Knights, we go into, the community work, making sure that our kids are getting opportunities at not just playing, travel ball, but getting into college and playing college baseball. Marco's providing over 13 plus scholarships to kids every year so that they can play baseball in college.
That is beautiful.
And we're just trying to grow. Honestly, we're just trying to grow, man. We're just trying to continue to provide opportunities for our inner city youth that that currently they don't have opportunities or with. So
I'm thinking about everything that's gone on in the past year. And can you tell us, real quick, what have been some of the biggest challenges of trying to do training with these kids during the times of COVID?
Just making sure that we're following all the safety protocols, honestly, because parents, when they see our flyers go out, they're emailing instantly because they want to get the kids outside of the house and to be active. For us, we just want to make sure we're following the safety protocols, all the protocols for COVID-19. So, we limit, this past year, we had to limit our camps because our camps, they blow up with so many kids. But we had to limit to a certain number of kids just to make sure we were within those guidelines. We were providing the kids with hand sanitizers. We were providing the kids with safety masks so that, and then we were socially or distancing them apart from each other. So it was difficult, but it was still doable. And we just all came together. We made sure we were following those protocols, and the kids enjoyed it. We did it, honestly, for it being a COVID year, we were out there, I believe we had 3 of them. We even had a back-to-school clinic where we were giving the kids free backpacks, school supplies. We had pizza there for them. And again, this was all during a COVID year. So we're excited.
And that means so much to the younger, it's underprivileged, however you want to say it. Sometimes these kids need someone to help them rise up.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like Omar said, he had uncles, cousins that kind of kept him on track. I'm sure growing up, I had my uncles, who I looked up to, who kept us on track, kept us in sports. And it's funny because I grew up with Omar playing baseball at Humboldt Park. That we've known each other since we were young kids. We also have known Marco since I was a kid growing up. We used to watch Marco play baseball.
Wow, that's awesome.
Against my uncles and my dad. So Marco essentially was our mentor growing up, and now we're all working together, and it's fantastic. Something that I think it's an amazing story. It's something that's
full circle.
Yeah, it comes full circle. And, even as a young kid playing against Marco and, him being a police officer and telling us, do this, and this, get on the department, it's an amazing thing. And it's crazy that, it comes full circle and that we actually work together. We give back to our communities together, and it's an amazing thing.
All right. Well, before we let you go, tell us where we can follow you on social media.
All of our social media sites, we have Facebook, we're CPD Nights Baseball. We're on Instagram also, CPD Nights Baseball. We're on Twitter, CPD Nights Baseball. So, you can reach us on any of those platforms. We're always posting all of our upcoming events. We're just trying to continue to add as we move forward into the summer, given that COVID cooperates with us this summer. You can follow us on all of our Facebook or social media platforms. I'm sorry.
Excellent. That's we really appreciate what you guys are doing. This is essentially an extracurricular activity that really you don't have to do. So seeing young Latino men stepping up and doing their thing and helping the community, this is fantastic. We want to thank you so much for being on the show. From the Chicago Police Department baseball team, the CPD Nights. Thank you, Eric, Marco, Omar, and Eddie for being here.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you guys for the support. Thank you guys for the support. God bless.
God bless. Yes, sir.
The True Chicago Sports Fans podcast will return after a brief word from our sponsor.
Hey, true Chicago sports fans, show off your Chicago pride with some fresh gear from Grit Clothing Company. At Grit Clothing, they create simple, classic clothing that represents their Southside Chicago lifestyle. With products like hats, t-shirts, hoodies, and glassware, Grit has everything you need to represent your Chicago pride. Check out gritclothingco.com and use the promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off of your entire order. That's gritclothingco.com and use our promo code TrueFan15.
Welcome back to the True Chicago Sports Fans podcast with E-Roc and Big-Z.
Yeah.
It's that time again, brother.
Uh-oh.
You know what time it is.
Oh, boy.
It's time for Stirring the Pot. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Here we go. I'm going to cut to the chase. Two options.
Uh-oh.
Only two options. Don't be turning stuff around on me. Cereal, crunchy or soggy?
What?
Yes.
Crunchy or soggy?
Yes. So when we're talking about bowl, get your bowl of cereal. You put the cereal in there. You put your milk, right? Because we don't do it the other way. We don't do it the other way.
Uh-huh.
All right. So, do you wait till it gets soggy, or do you eat and you want that crunch?
But see, here's the thing.
Oh, here we go. Here's a caveat.
It is, because when you say soggy, that means
it's been sitting there.
This ain't like an Italian beef. It's wet or dry. You know what I mean?
No.
Like you realistically, what you want is that you want enough milk to be absorbed where you still get texture on the cereal, but it's not so soggy that it's basically just oatmeal. So that's where I'm going. And the thing is that...
Do you eat fast enough to eat so it won't get soggy?
The other thing, too, is that it really depends on the cereal.
Oh.
It really does, because here's the thing. If you pour a bowl of Cheerios and let that milk, even if you let it sit there for a couple minutes, they're still pretty crunchy. But if you put some Honey Bunches of Oats, forget it. That's a mess. That is a mess. And it basically... Here's the thing. You pour yourself a bowl of Honey Bunches of Oats, let it sit for, 45 seconds.
You got cement.
Drink out the milk, bro. You are washing that bowl for the next 7 years of your life, because them flakes are never coming out.
That's what I'm saying. That makes cement.
So, this is crunchy. Oh, no, that's just the almonds. That's the only thing I just... So, to answer your question...
Yes.
No. I don't want either, man. I don't want a hard ass crap Captain Crunch tearing up the roof of my mouth.
Which it does, yes.
Well, you have to talk like this the rest of the day because it's fucking, it hurts.
Succotash.
With Mike Tyson when you need him. And I don't want that mush either. So I'm going right down the middle.
Right down the middle.
Right down the
So
middle.
you let it soak for like a minute or two?
A minute or two, you know?
But you finish the cereal before it gets soggy, is what I'm saying, right?
For the most part, I guess. Yeah, I guess.
I mean, no, who likes soggy cereal,
Nobody.
man? I'm gonna guarantee you someone's gonna text me like, I like soggy cereal. Like, dude, why are you letting your cornflakes sit for 20 minutes? Like,
I mean,
that's,
here's the problem. If you like soggy cereal,
oh boy,
you probably like soggy a lot of other things too.
I really can't with you some days. Oh my God.
So with that being said,
Let's get out of here.
before we go,
Oh, what do you got?
I got a question for you, man.
Yes, sir.
We talk so much about sports. This is my fun part.
Oh.
This is my fun part of the segment where we talk about food, we talk about cereal, we talk about our favorite chicken wings. I got a question for you.
Here we go.
What are you looking at? Tell me what you've been watching other than sports.
WandaVision.
Yeah.
Holy Jesus. That show is action-packed now. It started off slow, but it's got a lot of stuff, a lot of Easter eggs, a lot of references to X-Men, a lot of references to Marvel stuff. It's my jam right now.
Personally, like,
Yes, sir.
we're what, 7 or 8 episodes in of
About 8.
season 1?
Yeah.
So, I mean, spoiler alert, you should have watched this already. That's what the spoiler is.
Yeah.
The spoiler is that you should have been known. To me, when you talk about the first couple episodes being slow, to me,
I
was
liked
like,
it.
these make perfect sense.
I
see
liked it.
exactly what's happening.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know, too bad. The first episode is basically black and white, very similar to like
50s and 60s.
very like
I Love Lucy, Dick Van Dyke. Yes.
style.
Yes.
And to me, immediately what I thought of, this is comfort. This makes you feel like you're home.
Yeah.
And this is a wholesome 1950s family.
Yes.
And then as it progressed and you kind of advanced in the decades and the ages and things like that.
I Dream of Jeannie,
Yeah.
and then they went to
Everything made sense.
Brady
To me,
Bunch and all
it
that
made
stuff.
sense
Yeah.
from the start. A lot of people complained, but if you actually, now that you're this far into the season,
makes more
into the
sense.
show, go back and watch them first a couple episodes.
Yeah, you'll pick up on some things you missed out because you were blinded by being black and white. Grow up. Grow up.
Or stop being so old. I don't know. It's black and white TV.
I grew up with a black and white TV.
Yeah,
Get over it.
I remember black and white. It was. I mean, it was the Munsters, man. The Munsters, Addams Family. Listen,
What are you watching?
I've been watching a show that I started watching. I never got to finish it because I think we moved and I forgot about the show because that happens with other shows. But what I've been rewatching is Boardwalk Empire, man.
Probably top 5 of my favorite shows ever.
It's so good. There's a lot of historical figures in it where they tie in the stories. You had
your Al Capone,
Yeah.
your
Lucky Luciano.
Lucky Luciano.
Yeah, there's a lot of names in there.
Rothstein, because of the Black Sox. Look at that.
Look
Look at that little white sock, little
had
white.
to find a way.
Always.
And then you bring back the cheating White Sox.
Fuck it.
I fixed the World Series, Nucky.
Nucky Thompson's a fictional character, but yeah, and so is James.
Yeah, James Darmody.
James
I mean,
Darmody.
but if you have not had a chance, it's basically 1920s era gangsters in
Prohibition.
Atlantic City during Prohibition. It's really well written. Steve Buscemi is the main
main
actor,
character.
the main character, Nucky Thompson, and it's grimy, it's dirty, and it's really good.
It's so good. It's so good. And guess what? I just finished rewatching Sons of Anarchy for the 45th time. So I'm going to jump back on Boardwalk Empire and catch
we
up
can
to
discuss
you.
more.
Yeah, I'll catch up to you.
Oh, brother.
All right, let's get out of here.
All right, y'all. That is it for today. Thank you so much for listening. A big thank you to our sponsors, 606 Media, Noir Caesar, and Grit Clothing Company. Don't forget to check out gritclothingco.com and use our promo code TrueFan15 for 15% off of your entire order. Shout out to Ronesh and shout out to our super producer,
Super duper.
Jay Soto.
Thank you, Jay.
Want to start a podcast or have your show sound as clean as ours? You can find everything you need at jsotomedia.com. Don't forget to check us out on our social media. You can find us at True Shy Fans on Twitter. That's at True CHI Fans on Twitter and on TikTok. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and reach out to us on our email. We want to hear from you. Give us your show recommendations and your stirring the pot ideas and all the other little things in between. You can find us at truechicagosportsfans@gmail.com. Big shout out to today's guests from the Chicago Police Department Knights baseball team, Eric Bermudez, Marco Acevedo, Omar Gomez, and Eddie Echivera. Great to have them on. Great to have more first responders from Chicago on and talk about what they're doing.
No, it was great to have them on, especially because all you get is negative media from CPD.
Absolutely.
That's posted on, there's a lot of good stuff that's happening that's not being published on media.
Absolutely. I agree. And the thing is that the police officers that we talk to are around our age, and we were talking about how when we were kids, the cops are just a scary guy. They're going to take you away.
Yeah.
It's important for these kids, especially inner city kids, to
build relationships,
to trust them and
build relationships
and realize that they're not all the same.
Yeah.
One bad apple spoils the bunch. You can't always have that mentality because, it's hard. But we really appreciate them coming on, and we really appreciate what they're doing and what they're doing with the inner city and communities.
Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, y'all. For Big Z, this is E-Roc. We'll see you next week for episode 35.
Frank Thomas, baby.
Oh, bro. This is what we're doing now? All right. All right, y'all. Until then, be good to each other.
For the love of sports.
Yeah.
Acapurrias.
A few moments later.
You have a lot of incest.
That's real. Shut your mouth.
Loverboy.
Nature versus nurture, Lodge. Nature always wins.
I think he's on steroids.
Hasta luego, amigos. That's off. I shouldn't have had those artichoke poppers.